From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for May 15th, 2026. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. Lawyers have urged judge to block Donald Trump's order that would create eligible voter list and limit mail ballots. President Donald Trump exceeded his authority when he issued an executive order to restrict voters' ability to cast ballots by mail, according to attorneys for Democrats and civil rights groups. And that's what they told a federal judge on Thursday. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols didn't rule from the bench on the plaintiff's request for an order blocking officials from implementing Trump's March 31st order, his second related to elections since winning his second term in the White House. The case is one of multiple lawsuits filed to block the order on the grounds that only states in Congress and not the president are given the power under the Constitution to decide how elections are run. Trump's initial executive order to revamp elections by requiring documentary proof of citizenship issued last year was largely halted by multiple federal judges on similar grounds. He issued his latest order only after the voting bill he backed stalled in Congress. The current legal fight comes as the country is amid primary elections and election officials are preparing for the intricacies of holding the fall's midterm elections. In other news, emails show FBI Director Kash Patel's Hawaii trip included VIP snorkel at a Pearl Harbor memorial. When Kash Patel visited Hawaii last summer, the FBI took pains to note the director was not on vacation, highlighting his walking tour of the Bureau's Honolulu field office and meetings with local law enforcement. Left out of the FBI's news release was an exclusive excursion that Patel took days later when he participated in what government officials described as a VIP snorkel around the USS Arizona in an outing coordinated by the military. The sunken battleship entombs more than 900 sailors and Marines at Pearl Harbor. The swim, revealed in government emails obtained by the Associated Press, comes to light amid criticism of Patel's use of the FBI plane and his global travel, which have blurred professional responsibilities with leisure activities. The FBI did not disclose the snorkeling session or that Patel had returned to Hawaii for 2 days after his initial stopover on the island. In other news, Representative Chuck Edwards faces House ethics investigation over harassment allegations. The House Ethics Committee announced Thursday it is investigating Republican Representative Chuck Edwards of North Carolina over allegations that he created a hostile work environment and engaged in sexual harassment. Edwards, serving his second term in the House, said he welcomed the inquiry and planned to fully cooperate with the committee. I am confident the investigation will expose the facts, not politically motivated fiction, Edwards said. The investigation follows an Axios report stating that 3 sources told the publication that they witnessed conduct by Edwards toward 2 female staffers in their 20s that they described as inappropriate. The sources said Edwards' behavior crossed professional boundaries and created an uncomfortable work environment. Axios said the sources were granted anonymity to protect against retaliation. The Ethics Committee said in its investigation announcement that it would make no further public comment on the matter and that disclosing the review does not, by itself, indicate that any violation occurred. And finally, in Pennsylvania news, a Pennsylvania fugitive sex offender has been found living in the woods behind a Florida home, according to the U.S. Marshals. A sex offender from Pennsylvania who had been on the run for nearly 2 months was arrested after U.S. Marshals said they found him living in the woods behind a home in Florida. The U.S. Marshals Service said 2 of its task forces found 46-year-old Christopher Mazzoni in Naples on Wednesday, ending a search for the Tier 3 sex offender that began on March 9th. Authorities said Mazzoni was wanted on charges in Pennsylvania of disseminating child sex acts and sexual abuse materials. Because Mazzoni was previously convicted on child pornography charges in Delaware County, he was required to register his residence under Megan's Law. The U.S. Marshals said they believe Mazzoni was getting help to avoid being found by law enforcement down in Florida. And that's the news at this hour. The PEP Radio YouTube channel offers daily news updates throughout the day, every day. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to keep informed. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next is the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.